So Sig made the P365, and then they kept feeding and watering it. It got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then aluminum. Now it's back to its roots because the 365 Luxe is smaller, but still aluminum, and they say it's the softest shooting self-defense pistol on the market today.
But I tell you what, chambered in 380, this is the softest shooting self-defense pistol on the market today.
So I turned up to the range to test exactly that.
That's silly. Like, that's legitimately silly. This is insane. It's absurd. I know everyone compares them to like 22s, but this is legit like a 22 pistol.
So this is the Sig Sauer P365 Luxe, and Sig Sauer did send it to me in full disclosure, so don't just take my word for it. I showed it to Kevin at my range.
There's not much there. Very nice.
And then my buddy Danny walked up and he tried it.
Not either.
What? Is it even firing?
And Danny agreed to be a hand model. And before we get going much further, if you could subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot to me. I really appreciate you guys. But I'm just gonna go ahead and put it right there on the table. This is the softest shooting center-fired gun I have ever shot. That's not just for a defensive pistol, but like any pistol, period. It does what all the other 380s promise to do, which is make 380 really pleasant to shoot. It does that in a way that no other pistol really does. And previously, I was amazed at how the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 did that. It made the 380 cartridge really pleasant to shoot. But the Luxe honestly just takes it to another level.
I can already tell you that this is snapping a lot more, but this is notably softer shooting than the Smith. The Smith is still excellent, but this does in fact shoot softer than the Smith.
And then Danny weighed in.
Got it. All right, so how did you like the Bodyguard?
Yeah, no.
And it should, because the Luxe is roughly 60% heavier and nearly 50% fatter and just a little bit taller. So dimensionally, it is a bigger gun than the Bodyguard 2.0. And the Luxe does have an integrated slide expansion chamber, which is a fancy way of saying slide comp, which is what everybody calls the things. But if it was just the fact it is bigger and heavier, the Walther PPK-S is also in 380, so we shot that as well.
That's not fun. It feels like a tiny little mule is kicking me in the web of the hand. Ow, ow, ow.
So it leaves the question as why is the Luxe as good shooting as it is? And it comes down to a couple different things. Because it is bigger and fatter, this is not a pocket carry gun. This is definitely a holster inside the belt type of gun. It is fatter than the Bodyguard 2.0, which is not good for carrying, but is good for the way that it shoots. It is just broader across the back, so it does spread out the force of what recoil makes it into your arms across a broader surface area. It's got these LOK grips that come on it as well that provide really good traction. These are kind of in like the Goldilocks zone of provides grip when you squeeze it, but won't tear up your smooth, supple daddy tummy. And if you need some LOK grips, you can try this over there and good things will happen. But because it is also wider, it has space for an RMSC footprint optic. This is the Sig Sauer Romeo X enclosed, which is truthfully one of my favorite enclosed optic. It's got incredible glass clarity and the emitter is great. There's like zero distortion on the glass. It's a really nice optic. And because the gun is aluminum, it has the benefits of aluminum, meaning that the sculpt is just going to be better than you get with a polymer gun. Polymer guns require more material in key areas, so you get like thick humps on the grip tang and stuff. But with this, it just has excellent access under the trigger guard where it's super thin, as well as the grip tang sculpt. So it just fits in the hand really well. There's decent texture on the front and back strap to kind of keep the gun planted, plus these wonderful G10 grips. So it's got a lot going for it to make it a great shooter. So who would this gun be for? I think somebody who's learning how to shoot, moving from like a rimfire gun up to a centerfire gun. This is a nice intermediate before you even get to 9mm. And trying to understand that, I took the P365 AXG Legion in 9mm, also with LOK Grips. Look at those guys. Shooting them side by side, the 9mm Legion is a very nice shooting pistol. It has a lot more kind of flip to it because the cartridge is spicier, and it's just dumping a lot more energy into the shooter's wrists than this gun. This gun is, it's a cliche, but it is absolutely the truth. This is about like shooting a .22 pistol. It's really obscene how nice this gun is to shoot because 380 ammo is a little bit expensive. It's not as bad as it used to be. I was able to get 380 ammo for this gun at about $16 to $17 per box of 50, which is not that bad. The aesthetics on the gun are kind of interesting. It's using the new like premium line of Cerakote finishes. This is a pearlescent black and it's called Luxe. So it's like, it's for women, kind of, but not really, because it's not overtly for women. Like Walter called their gun the PDP-F, and the F is for female. This is just called the Luxe, and it's got a sparkly black finish. So I suggest who the gun is for. It's for people who are getting into centerfire guns, who don't want a lot of energy getting into their wrists. I think it is for women, but I think any man can really enjoy this pistol as well. And it does, I mean, honestly, it looks cool. The frame itself is roughly the size of a 365, so it's got a 13 round magazine, comes with 3 of them by the way, and it's just obscenely fun to shoot. Like, we had a really good time shooting this thing, so much so that I got froggy at 25 yards with it.
This is silly. We have to look at those groups. I think that was really good based on the dot movement.
At 25 yards.
For a pretty rapid clip, that's honestly not bad.
And not zeroing a dot.
That's close enough.
Close enough.
From a reliability standpoint, I didn't put a ton of rounds. I put, I think, 400 plus, between 400 and 500 rounds through it of about 6 different ammo types. 2 different versions of Fiocchi range ammo, Winchester white box, Spear gold dots, Hornady American Gunner hollow points, and the Sig V crowns. So tried a bunch of different ammo. It ran fine. It never even choked to feed the first round into the gun, which if a gun's going to choke, usually that's what it gets. Trigger, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about. It's a standard 365X trigger. The shape of the grip makes it very easy to pull straight to the rear, which allows you to get, good accuracy out of a little tiny baby pistol. But it's not all upsides. There are some downsides we need to talk about with this pistol. The first and foremost, the one that everybody in the comments is probably going to pick up on first, is the price. The price, Sig has announced this at being a manufacturer's accepted price of $999.99. So right at about $1,000. This is an expensive pistol. It is a concealed carry pistol. People are generally averse to carrying a pistol that costs that much money on their hip. A lot of people, this is just an unattainable price point for this gun, so it is an expensive pistol. However, it does come with a lot of premium features that sort of command the price. The fact it comes with 3 of their magazines, these magazines are a lot more expensive. They're like 40 to 50 bucks. It comes with the premium Cerakote finish. I realize right now it's just Cerakote, but at the same time, the shiny ones cost more. It has the aluminum grip module. It's difficult to get a gun with a metal frame in 380 period, and generally metal guns are going to cost more than other ones. So there is a lot of stuff going for it that suggests a higher price point, but regardless, it is a higher price point. The next one is going to be the size of the gun. This is the same size as roughly the 9mm version of the gun. So a lot of people have it in their mind how big a 380 should be. And it should be like an LCP Max or the Bodyguard 2.0. Like, that's the size for a semi-auto 380. This is bigger and fatter than both of those pistols. So people are going to have a hard time with that and consider this a con, especially the weight, because the weight is 20-something ounces unloaded with a magazine. Like I said, it's a belt ride gun. You're going to need to put it in a belt holster, not in your pocket. This next one, I can't really show you, but I can tell you about it. I've got a buddy with a holster company, and he told me about it because he bought tooling and then the tooling didn't work. So Sig revised the AXG frames that they were selling for the 365. So what that means, holster company buys these like molds that they make their holsters with, that they call it tooling. Sig changed the frames on the AXG 365 without telling anybody. So all of the tooling like a bunch of holster companies bought doesn't work. Some companies have 2 sets of tooling and you have to tell them which generation of the frame that you have. And the question mark looms out there of like, which generation will this gun fit? I say all that to say, if you're going to get a custom holster for this gun, I would email the company you're getting it from to verify fit before you plunk the money down of getting a custom holster. Eventually, this will all be in the rearview mirror and the AXG frame will just be what it is and the holsters will be sorted out. But we're in kind of a transition period right now as the gun is released to make sure that you get the holsters fit the way you need them. My holsters that fit the AXG Legion are basically X-Macro holsters that are loose, so not exactly super tight holsters, but they work with this gun as well. But if you're getting a custom holster, I would verify fit before you place an order. So this gun is going to occupy a spot in my collection of getting new people into shooting, whether it's kids or your wife or whoever, just getting them started on a 22, then getting them into kind of a louder gun with a little bit more snap. This is a very nice intermediate point to get people used to center fire handguns. Now that said, it's not necessarily, if you're somebody who has arthritis, it's not the easiest racking slide in the world. However, it is a pretty easy racking slide. This is a fantastic shooting gun and it's difficult for me to say that any more enthusiastically than I am. It is incredibly nice shooting. We shot up all the 380 ammo that I had. Admittedly, it wasn't a ton. It was, 400 or 500 rounds or whatever, but the gun was just super fun to shoot. It doesn't fatigue you as a shooter. You could shoot this gun all day and have a good time with it. But if you've got a P365 already, I've done a video comparing the Radian Ramjet Afterburner combo against the Parker Mountain Machine JTTC comp. So check that out.